speaking about the digestive system. As you go through this flip video, please fill out your diagram sheets that have been posted on Angel. So there is a misconception that the digestive system isn't connected to the outside world. In reality, it's just the extension of the external environment we have. There's two different ways to break down food, mechanical and chemical. Mechanical being chewing or the use of muscles, even in the muscles in your rear end. Mechanical and chemical happen within the stomach. Chemicals breaking down the food in our stomach and muscles around the outside. And chemical can happen in our intestines and through the use of enzymes created by our pancreas. So the whole function of our digestive system is to break down food into smaller components so that we can then use them within the cells of our body. This starts with mechanical digestion in our mouth, with the grinding and cutting up of food within using our teeth. Different organisms have different sized teeth because of the different function that they might need to use them for. Tearing versus grinding versus capturing, for example. Take a moment and pause the video and fill in the necessary diagram components that you don't already have filled in on your sheet. Can you identify these ones? If you can't, pause the video, rewind, and review those structures. So what am I? This is the first place where food enters. We have taste buds and a tongue. I am a mouth. Swallowing is next, and swallowing is a very important aspect of the digestive system, as we need to protect both our windpipe and our lungs. So in this case, this airway was not protected, and water is actually going into the airway, which is called aspiration. So the pharynx is located at the back of the throat, and it guides food from the oral cavity into the esophageal tube, and it guides air from the nasal cavity into the trachea, which is the tube that is going to allow for oxygen to enter our lungs. The act of swallowing happens in 4 distinct steps. First being that the tongue rolls the food into a bolus. It pushes the bolus towards the back of the throat and the soft palate, or uvula combination, which closes over the nasal cavity so it doesn't go up your nose. The epiglottis closes down over the trachea, which is a very important step, as if we didn't cover it, we would have food going into our air pipe, and we would not want that to happen. Choking would happen. And then finally, a reflex is initiated for peristaltic to happen in the esophagus. So this is a process of pushing the ball of food down your throat. So I want you to get a snack for me. I want you to chew that wonderful snack that you have. Don't swallow. Turn yourself upside down. Can you still swallow? The answer is yes. And a lot of people don't believe that you actually can, because they think that gravity is necessary for peristaltic to actually happen. That's not. Here is an x-ray of the peristaltic movement of the bolus of food down the esophagus. So muscles are used to push it downwards into your stomach. The esophagus pushes the bolus of food towards the stomach, and at the bottom of the esophagus we have the esophageal sphincter before it enters the stomach. There's 2 sphincters, one at the top of the esophagus and one at the lower part of the esophagus. This is really important for you to understand that one of them has a conscious opening and closing, which is your lower one. So you're able to think, your body is able to open and close it as it's necessary, where the top one, it is something that is non-conscious, so it will open and close on its own. So in this structure, we are C-shaped. We have a sphincter that guards the entrance. There's a pyloric sphincter guarding the exit. And I have rugae, which are increased surface areas. I am the stomach. The stomach is not a fixed size. The stomach moves and grows or contracts according to what you're eating. So that being said, your stomach can actually be stretched. Rugae are individual little bumps that occur in the structure of the inside of the stomach that you can see here. They increase the surface area and allow for greater digestion to actually occur. They expand the stomach and move outwards to create a larger surface area where digestion can happen, and a larger size of a stomach if necessary. A lot of people think that stress causes ulcers, where this is not the case in the majority of the time. It's actually a bacteria. We have 4 different types of cells that occur in the stomach. We have mucus cells that line and protect the inside of the stomach from its own acid. Perianal cells, which secrete hydrochloric acid. Chief cells, which secrete pepsin, which is a protein enzyme that degrade proteins into peptides, smaller pieces. And G cells, which is secretes gastrin and regulates the gastric acid secretion. Very few things are actually absorbed within the stomach. Aspirin and anti-inflammatory drugs and ethanol are a couple of the main ones. There's many stages for the preparation of incoming food. So the cephalic phase is the wake-up call. So secretions start in the stomach. The gastric phase is full steam ahead. So we have the secretion of gastrin and HCl to break down our food, and the intestinal phase where we have the the brakes are stepped on. Chyme, which is has a low pH, which is the leftover food after it starts to be digested, inhibits the secretion of the above substances. If you want to check out the phases in more detail, this is an excellent link to a video where you can find that. The lower digestive system starts with the small intestine. The small intestine is broken up into 3 different components: the duodenum, and the ileum. The word small and large, when referring to the intestine, does not actually indicate the length, but the diameter of the intestines. Do you know how long your intestines are? They're actually 23 feet long on average. That's over 4 people that are standing on top of each other. So like I said, there's 3 different parts. The duodenum, which is a very small part at the very beginning. This is where pancreatic enzymes and bile is going to be released to help with the digestion. The duodenum is where we have the majority of the nutrients actually being absorbed, and the ileum where we have final absorption actually occurring. The pancreas is going to secrete hormones directly into the blood. They come from the ducts and the glands. They produce insulin, which helps to regulate our blood sugar. In the small intestines, just like we had in the stomach, we have villi that increase our surface area and allow for greater absorption of those nutrients. The liver and the gallbladder secrete bile and bile salts to help with the digestion of foods, including many fats. In the large intestine, this is where the majority of the water is going to be reabsorbed and feces are going to be created. The majority of digestion has already occurred by the time that food has reached the large intestine. Here are the different sections that you should make sure you have on your diagram sheet. The rectum is important because it is also a holding location. You know that farting feeling that you're getting? That's because there is some buildup of some feces in your rectum. Feces contain a large quantity of water. Therefore, if you are becoming dehydrated, it's most likely because you have some sort of bacteria that is causing you to excrete a large quantity of water in your feces. This would be diarrhea. If you take a medication to stop that, you're going to slow down the process and absorb more water. Bacteria is also found in the intestines because it helps to break down your food.